Hello everybody and welcome to another Nephilim builds. Today we'll be making the world's raddest dragon, Spyro. Just as a heads up, I'm going to be going for a combination OG legend build. And as always, keep in mind that these videos are about capturing the spirit of the character rather than capturing their abilities perfectly. With that said, let's start with ability scores. To start off, we'll put the 15 into dexterity. Platforming requires agility. Up next is the 14 in charisma. He was the raddest mascot since Crash for a reason. After that is 13 in wisdom. Remember when you had to actually find everything to finish the games? We'll put the 12 into strength. We don't really need it, but Spyro's health is tied to a bug, so the 10 is going to constitution. Lastly, we'll dump intelligence. Either Legend Spyro never saw a mirror, or he legitimately thought he was a dragonfly. Now it's time for a race, and you might be thinking Dragonborn. The only problem is there are no purple Dragonborn, and I'm not willing to compromise on that. Spyro is also small, not medium. So how about Volo's kobolds? Because sunlight sensitivity sucks, and I don't like the concept of grovel, cower, and beg. They also don't come in purple, I checked. The solution? Custom lineage. We'll just make ourselves a purple kobold with none of the detriments. And yes, no pack tactics either, but hey, sacrifices must be made. We'll put our +2 into charisma, take perception for our skill, speak common and draconic, and take the crusher feat to knock people around with our bludgeoning attacks. What bludgeoning attacks? I'm glad you asked, but first, background. We'll make a custom one, taking proficiency in persuasion and intimidation, as well as proficiency in land and sea vehicles. Moving on to class, we're going to start with Monk. No, I am not joking. Dragon Kata from Shadow Legacy is a martial art involving chi, and even in the Legend series, magic is treated as an eternal spiritual energy. We'll get proficiency in strength and dexterity saving throws, and pick athletics and acrobatics for our skills. We'll take proficiency in Jeweler's Tools, since gems are so important in the series, and we'll be proficient with simple weapons and short swords. At level 1 we'll get unarmored defense and martial arts, but after that we're going to jump to Draconic Sorcerer because dragon magic is still magic. We'll pick gold for our dragon ancestor, which means we'll get some gold scales to match with the purple with Draconic Resilience. Spoiler warning, we're going to use this for our AC instead of unarmored defense. At level 2 we get Font of Magic, and at level 3 we get Meta Magic. Pick whichever options you want, but I like Quicken Spell and Transmuted Spell. At level 4 we get an ability score improvement, which we'll put into Dexterity and Wisdom, and at level 5 we get Magical Guidance from Tasha's. At level 6 we get Elemental Affinity, and at level 7 we get 4th level spells. This is where we're going to stop for Sorcerer, so now back to Monk. At Monk level 2 we get Ki and Unarmored Movement, and at level 3 we get Deflect Missiles and our Monastic Tradition. We'll be taking the Way of the Ascended Dragon from Unearthed Arcana, which will give us Draconic, Disciple, and Breath of the Dragon. And yes, I know Acid and Poison are elements he can't use in-game, but the whole point of the Purple Dragon is that they have all of the other dragon's elements, and those are elements D&D dragons have. Anyway, at level 4 we get Slow Fall and an ability score improvement, which we'll put into Dexterity. At level 5 we get Extra Attack and Stunning Strike, and at level 6 we get Ki Empowered Strikes and Wings Unfurled to serve as a short ranged glide. We're going to stop here for this build, which means we finally have our modifiers. Now it's time to talk spells. As a sorcerer, our spellcasting ability is Charisma. Our spell save DC is 15 and our spell attack modifier is +7. We'll have 5 cantrips to choose from. We'll take Firebolt, Create Bonfire, Frostbite, Ray of Frost, and Lightning Lure. As a level 7 sorcerer, we have 4 first level slots, 3 second and third level slots, 1 fourth level slot, and 8 spells to choose from. We'll start with Earth Tremor and Dust Devil, because by God, I'm going to get something for Earth from this. Ice Knife makes for a good secondary Ice Breath, and Haste can be a stand-in for either Supercharge or Dragon Time. Watery Sphere is the closest we'll get to Bubble Breath, and Dragon's Breath is good for when the Monk version runs out. Lastly, both Ice Storm and Melf's Minute Meteors make good Fury attacks for any element with Transmuted Spell. Going back to the main sheet, Spyro really doesn't have anything for inventory, but we'll give him a component pouch for spellcasting. Our AC with Draconic Resilience is 17, our movement speed is 45, and our average HP is 74 with 76 and 68 hit dice. From this point on, just keep going with Sorcerer and you'll cap off with a nice pair of wings. Make sure you take Sunbeam and or Disintegrate for the Ether Breath, and take some extra Earth spells where you can. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below, and I'll see you all next week when I make Deadshot from DC Comics.